screen. Okay. Yeah, what I did till now, um, inside a controller, what I did, I I just call this function. Okay, the function which I have created here. I'm just calling this function, right? This common and user validation. So I'm calling this function from this controller, and based on this status, with if all validation successful, if validation are successful, are suc- then only we are doing the next step, like we are reading and saving those data. If it's not, then what I'm doing, see, I am uh, adding the status code which I'm getting from the validation function and the message which I'm getting from it. Okay, so let's go to our function and update our codes. Return string. Okay, and here what I am doing here, we are expecting three things: status code and message. Okay, sorry. Okay, and at the end, what I will do, I will simply return this. So if everything goes well, then I will simply return this message. Okay, but we know we have to do some validation in user validation. For that, in order to use it, we need two things. One is constant, and second our function for constant. Which I have wrote in our validation. Got it? And here we will write everything. Okay. What we need, first thing first, we will check, like, let me copy the data from. So in this way, the data are coming, right? So inside our function, inside our, I would say, user validation function, we will check everything one by one, like everything, it's coming proper or not. So first, what you will check, if you are writing this code, you have to validate this data, whether everything are coming correctly or not. So first thing, from where you will start, what you will check. What should be your first validation condition? Anybody?
First
The
name,
data, your question, go ahead.
Sorry, can you repeat again? Data, okay, data mean RUQ request. Data mean this, okay. Or what I will do from controller, I will send request.body only, okay. Since we know it's a post request, it's a post request and data will come inside a body, okay. Mean this, we are sending this. So first check, what should be your first check?
First name.
Your first step, first name. Uh, Wrong,
Yeah,
The
right.
data object contains any value or not. That's
correct.
what.
So first step would be you have to check like this body having any data or not. Okay. So this dot we have a different function. We will do blank check of with thing with data, right? If it's true, then well and good. Uh, I will check only for false. Okay. Why I given in this sign in front of this, and here I will write the code.
logical not it is.
Yeah, yeah. Why I have given logical not here and and writing something like this. Let me just give me 1 minute. Okay. Yeah. Why I given that condition 403. Okay. Okay. So when I see this thing, okay, and then inside a status code, we have to read it from constant. Let me add some more status code like 403 validation. Okay. So this is a response code, right? So constant dot response code dot validation. Okay. What uh, what I did here, I did inside our function, I checked something, and then if it's giving some error, then I am setting this. Okay. Constant dot status code. It should be a response code dot validation. Okay. And this is a message. Uh, so I don't think I have created anything like that. Thank. I know this thing look tedious to you all, okay, but slowly when you develop one functionality, then for next time you just need to copy those things and it will work automatically. And secondly, it will make your application robust also. Okay, I mean you will not face any issue if you uh, do like this. Okay, dot
Sir, could you please open that blank check function once?
Yeah. Till here, I have given one small validation. Okay. Any question? Any question from any one of you?
Sir, blank check function, could you please show us one?
Okay. Return. Now go to check function, right?
Yes.
That is inside our validation function. So this is the blank check function.
But I think for object, this condition will need to check that because object will not have a depth length property. I think.
Yeah. For object, I think uh, this type of undefined will work. Okay.
But the length condition will fail for object.
Yes. So if you want to change this condition, later on we can add anything, right? That's why I have made in a common place. Like if you see any error, you can simply come to this function and simply change it. You don't have to repeat this code again and again, right? If you do a validation on those pages only, then what would happen? If you like you say, like, yeah, for object, for array length, for many things, this validation might not work. Okay. But still, but if you want to add any, I mean, if you find anything new, okay, which are not working with this, so you can come here and just simply update this thing, and it will work like a wonder, right?
Got it.
You
Yes.
don't have to go at any places and do all those changes all in all the places. That's why, see, we are doing lots of things at lots of places. But for now, you might be thinking, oh, it's a very big thing, very lengthy thing. But for a long term, these things are very helpful because it will provide consistency in your code. So if you check the controller, what I am doing, no, let's check the function first. What I have done here, yeah. So first step, what I have done, I have checked the body whether this body contained any name or not. Okay. In this way, you have to check each and everything. Then you have to check the first name. For first name, uh, first is if it's a blank, then give a blank message. You can check the length also, right? From here, and do all stuff of validation. Mind it, more validation you do, more better is your code. Okay. For first name, I think you all have said. The second thing which we will do is,
One thing, the
yes,
constant dot response code dot validation, how these values are being set.
which one?
Constant validation blank place. Suppose our status code is 505. Okay, 403, like that. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
how these things actually being set, because each and everything are different.
See, the names are different, right? I mean, if you see constant, I mean, if you check this thing, right? It has one function called validation, other function called response message, response error, response code. Okay. So based on our need, what we have done, whatever text we need to send to some function or to the user, we will write everything in constant. Okay. No, nothing should be written in your code. Hard coded thing, all the hard coded thing should come from some place. That what For that I have created this page. Everything, every hard coded thing, should come from this page only. Okay, based on the features, based on the type of the of those content, what I did, I created a different objects of it, right? Validation for response message, for error message, for response code, and anything else, anything and everything else which are hard coded, which have been defined by the developers. Everything should be here. Why? Because if you want to change anything, if you want to change any message, any header, or anything which are not coming from user or the client or the person who are using this application, should come from here. And if you want to update those things, we will update here only, and it will reflect on the other places. We will not do any we will not touch any code for this kind of thing, right? That's why I have created this thing. And how these things comes, this thing based on your requirement, like how you want to show message to them. And these are the standard http protocols status code. Okay, if you check this thing, uh, http protocol status code. Okay, see, these are the standard protocols. Okay, these 1 to 100 is informative. So for success, it's a 200, right? For creation, it's a 201. For accepted, mean 202. For different thing, for different uh, part for different functionality, HTTP provides us the different status code. So we have to utilize that, right? And what would happen, like like for 403, mean for forbidden, mean you are not uh, you don't have to use this thing. Sometimes what happen, a developer depend upon the message, and sometimes they depend upon the status code, right? And as a developer, sometimes we do mistake. We are human beings, so we should do mistake. What we do, we we give multiple type of message. Like, instead of user u capital, sometimes some developer can give u small. Instead of creation c capital, user, I mean, some developer can give c small. So with this thing, what would happen, there would be some dis uh, discontinuity in the message between the backend developer and the front end developer. So if you write everything at one place, and if your UI person says, no, 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 we don't need this, what we need, we just need user created. So you will not search in this much of page, right? You will not go and search in these thousands of pages. What you will do, you will just open this page and this, and then update here. And if you have followed the code structure properly, this will mean fulfill the need of a UI or the client, what they want. Okay, that's why we are keeping everything at one place only. We are not scattering those things on the functions, or on the place where they are getting used. Understand? So what we have done, we have checked some validation. See, if we had done multiple of thing here, mean if we had add everything to this controller, okay, then what would happen? Slowly this page, sorry, this controller, yeah, slowly this page will become very huge. Okay, very huge. And I usually say, in what I believe, your code should be only that much longer, that, I mean, your logic should be that much longer, that you can see in your screen. That should be your the length of your code. I mean, your function or your code should not be greater than, I would say, 40, 50, 60, or 100 line. It should not be more than 100 line. Okay, if it's lesser than that, well and good. And it should not be a very lengthy one. So if I cut this, if I cut this thing, I mean I could have this thing, I could have this thing in this place also. There were no issue with that. But what would happen? I mean, if we do testing, then this page would become very huge. Okay, and we cannot say what happened here. We cannot fix the bugs also, like from which place the bugs are coming on. But if your code is this much, a smaller one, then you can simply give a debugger here and then here, and then simply you can see, okay, my validation function is perfect because I am getting uh, the data which I was expecting. Okay, I'm getting all the correct data. So the problem might be on somewhere else. So for somewhere else, I think these again should be some other functions. Okay, where I will add those data inside the models. So in this way, I mean, whatever thing we write to in such a way like we can debug it in future. Okay, it's not that we have just written the code, it's over. Okay, so let's see what is happening here. I mean, whether we have done everything correctly or not till now. Let us run the code. It may be some bugs. Okay, let us run the code and then I will explain you everything. Any kind of bug? Nothing. Okay. Okay, let me start with uh inspector. Okay, I think we have written the code for inspector, right? Yeah. Npm run debug. Okay. Did you all following me? What I said? Hello.
Yeah, Firdous.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now let us check this thing. Whatever thing we have done, whether it's working or not. Okay, and how the flows are going. So keep this in mind. Like your code should be every code should be such. It should not be greater than 100 lines of code. Mean any logics. Okay, make it as smaller or and as common as you can. Okay, follow KIS policy. Okay, keep it simple. Make it as simple as you can. Why? Because once see this is a structure for the monolithic application. Okay, and there might be a case when your seniors will say, no, we have to go for the microservice architecture. So if everything will be interdependent, then it would be very difficult to migrate the code. And if you write the code in this way, what will happen? If somebody says, hey, we will put our user thing user I mean controller into another microservice, you will just have to copy this controller and the common pages like models, routes, and this. You will just put those things and it will work. And if everything might have been clubbed together, then what would happen? uh, you cannot utilize this code again. You have to rewrite this code when once you go for the migration for the microservices. Okay, let us. Okay, what I did, I ran in debug mode, and then I am doing it. I am showing you through Postman. Okay, okay. This will be my controller, user controller, and then I had done many thing more. It's not showing. Everything did not come. Okay, okay, let it. Okay, and through Postman, I will hit this API again. and let's see what happened, whether our integration with all the things have been correct or not. Okay. Okay. So this was our add user routes. Yeah. Okay. So what happened when I click here? I come here. Okay, and inside body, I can see all the data. Right. This is my password. This is my mobile number. Blah blah blah. Okay. If I move it here, see inside message, I am getting some message. Okay. And if I run it, it will go here and then save everything. Okay, it will save everything. Right. Now, if I keep this thing as blank and then if I hit it, same thing will happen. It came here, and from here, this validation function is sending us some response code. What cannot be blank? That this is a message, and response code is coming as 403. So then it will not come here, right? It should move it to else and then provide us the correct message. And with this thing, the UI guy will able to understand, oh, since it's coming as a 403 error, it's mean the request is not a legal request, right? Mean it's reading those things, but due to some problem, what problem, authentication or anything else. So if you give a proper response code uh, with a proper message, then it would be very easier for the code for the UI guys to integrate this API with their application. Okay. So right now, what I did, I am just sending. See what message it is showing. Cannot be blank. Let us see why it's showing as cannot be blank. Ideally, it should be user name cannot be blank, right? Okay. Why it is showing blank? Can anybody will tell this thing? Ideally, in this case, it should say blank. Let me remove all the debugger point. Okay, then it would be easier. Okay, if I hit this thing, it is telling me cannot be blank. Why? Because see, I am not sending anything in data. Okay, the request which I am sending, it does not contain any data. So therefore, this is reading message from here. But if even if I give some data and keep my first name as blank, that time also it is giving the same message. Why? Anybody have any answer for this?
Message is common. Blank message is common. That's why. Maybe.
Yeah, correct. So this should be blank username, right? Or more precisely, we can give some constant like blank first name, right, instead of username. So these kind of changes, mean if you do everything separately, then these kind of changes to implement it would be very easier. Okay, just wait for few seconds, and I think that's it. These this is the validation which you should implement in your application. Okay, now it changed to the username cannot be blank. So see again, we are providing
Okay.
a wrong message here, right? Instead of username, ideally it should be first name. So again, if we have to change this thing, if we have to change this thing, then what I should do? Blank username. I will create one more constant like first name. First name cannot be blank, right? And then instead of blank username, let me. I mean, yes, I will change this to blank first name. Got it? And if I hit this thing, if I hit the API now, I will get a proper message. And by reading this message, a UI guy could understand, oh, we are not sending the first name. We should add the first name. Ideally, ideally there should be this kind of validation in the front end, but as a coder, you should have a habit to have the validation in the back end also. It's a must thing, and people usually, I mean, escape this thing. Okay, so regarding this, regarding today's class, anybody have any question? Let me push the code, and I think this is for the this is it. Okay, so for tomorrow, I would request everyone to complete all the validation for all the different functions, and then integrate those things in your works. Okay. Anybody have any questions for today's class?
Blank check functions are actually you are checking blank check functions for the first name also. You are checking blank check functions for the same function name actually using again and again. So that is the concern. Can you please explain
Why?
it?
Why? That's why I wrote a function so that I can recheck this thing, reuse those things again and again.
No, actually, can be first thing can be blank check, second thing can be null check like that. So same function name, how you can distinguish it? First is actually checking the data only. Second one is checking data
See,
plus data, first name data only, like that.
no. See, that's why we create a function. We create a function to use same function from different places or for the different places. This function only expect a data and check whether that expect have any value or not. Okay. So
Oh,
same thing we are checking for data, for the full data, or for the first name, or for the we can check the same for email ID, right?
okay.
Or for the password. I mean, you understand my point?
Yes.
Because we had made a common function, and inside this function what happening, we are checking, we are doing all the stuff like whether it's a blank or not. We else we have to rewrite this thing again and again, and if we have add any new condition, then what would happen? If this thing, if blank check is on 100 places, so you have to go to that 100 places. Okay, like someone have told, like for object this would not work. Yeah, I mean JavaScript have different flaws. Okay, for different thing you have to write a specific functions, specific way. So for those you have, instead of going to every places, you have a common function. You just have to update here, give more condition, and that will work for those things, okay, which we have developed here for these functions. Understood?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Suppose for phone number, if you want to give any condition for phone number, what you will do? You will just copy this thing, paste here. Okay, instead of blank check for phone number, what should be your validation? For phone number, first validation should be is number, right?
Yes.
Oh, right. First you have to check the blank, and then you have to check whether it's a number or not. Okay. So in this function, do you have to do one thing. Mean check check one functionalities. I mean for the group of thing, check those functionality first. Okay. Like for first name, uh, in schema we have discussed, like for first name it should have this much of thing. Okay, so give all the checks first for the first name, then go to the second name, then for password, then go for the address. Okay, you understood? Like for first name, what we have done, we have checked for the for this blank check. Then we can again, the second condition which we think like it should have is the number of character. Okay, it should not be greater than 20 or something. So instead of a blank check, what we have to do, we will go to our function, validation function. We have a max character check. Okay, so we will again come to our common function. Instead of this, we will have a max character check, right? And the length which we will give is through constant. Okay, we have declared like what should be our uh, maximum character for any user first name or username. What we have given, max name length. Okay, this. Got it? uh, so if it's not successful, if it's coming as false, then what we have to do, we have to change the message, right? Did we declare any message for max length? Let us see that also. Where it is here. Mhm. No message, right? So we can give some message here. Okay. Okay, name should be of, we can give some message like this, and in our controller, in our common function, we will send this message. And it would be better if you give comment also. Okay, clicking body. Oh, first name. Any other question from anyone? Any more question from anyone?
No, sir, not yet.
No.
So you got that thing, right? How we are doing this validation. And see, we are not uh, writing any hard coded data from any places, right? We are utilizing, I mean, everything are coming from some specific places, right?
Yes.
And this should be the way you should do your coding. Okay.
Sir, tomorrow can you show us that means how is means if we while we are writing code, what will be the way to align the lines? If there are number of functions within the functions or loop, then how to align those? Just just briefly, can you guide
Okay.
us?
Okay. Okay, okay. Yeah, let me just wrap up this thing, like what I have uh, taught you today. Okay. So
Okay, sir.
what we were trying to do validation. Mind it, validation can be done in front end, validation can be done in database. Okay. We can give validation on those places also. And thirdly, we can do an automated validation also. But I as a developer prefer this kind of custom validation. Okay, where you write everything by your own and then do that thing. Why? Because it give you more control to yourself. Okay, if you do this kind of custom validation. So for those, what I have done, I I just added few files. Okay, one file that is called as a constant.js. This file we will maintain to have anything that I need to write other than the logic. Okay, any numbers or any string that I need to write to give response or to give a message to the front, to the back, to the front end, or in the API. We will write everything here. So our program or our application would be maintained through this constant only. Now you might have seen another place like this .env. The difference between this env and that constant is, see, constant is a user defined constant, okay, that we are using in our application. And inside env we store the credentials, okay, or those things which will help to run the library or to run the application. Okay, so these two things are different, but yeah, to I mean, with the similar users. Okay, a second thing what we have done, we have created a common function from where we will do the validation. And one more thing we have done, we have created the uh, sorry, the validation functions which you can utilize in different places. What we have done, whatever checks and balance we have to do, whatever thing we have to do, we will create a function based on our checking, whether we will check a blank, whether we will check a number, whether we will check a maximum character length, minimum character length, email pattern, anything else, anything and everything else which we will do validation. We will create a function here. Why we are creating a function here? It is due to one simple reason: to reuse this code. Mean I will use this function from multiple places. I can use this function from any places. Okay, so all the functions regarding the validation, I will write everything here. And then I have created a common function. Inside a common function, I have created a user validation function where actual validation will happen. Okay, for that, what I did, I created an object that I will return from this function. So this is the return string, and inside it, I have created a status, whether I mean, validation has been successful or not. A status code. Okay, that status code I will maintain in the constant file, and the message again. This message I will contain in the constant files. Okay, so first, regarding a body, mean whether this data are coming or not from the user. First thing what I did, I checked that. Okay, after checking that, if I get false, if I get uh, false from this function, from this user check function, if I get false, okay, instead of this validation fail. If the validation fail, I update these three things. Okay, status I change it to false. Then status code I change it to the whatever status code we have uh, identified for the validation, and the message. Okay, uh, for blank we have some message in the constant, so we will return that thing, and then we will return this thing. If we return this thing, execution will stop. Okay, sometimes people give false also, but we don't need to give anything like that. Okay, so whenever it comes here and it sees like this validation check fail, mean our body don't have any data, it will return false. Okay, to make this thing better, what I will do, I will just simply change this data from data into body. Okay, then similarly for and one thing is very important, you have to give comment. Whatever thing you do, give comment. It will help your team members. Okay, second thing, what I have done, I have checked for the first name. Same, for first name also we have to check whether it's a blank or not, so that I have checked. And second thing what I have checked, the maximum length. Okay, and if it does not validate those things, I am returning with the status code and the message. Similarly, the third validation which we have done for password, I think some more thing we have to do. We have to add a regex and everything, and we have to check whether the password is correct or not. Okay, so for that, your work should be to complete this validation. Whatever thing we have in this add user schema, all these things you have to validate each and everything and complete this function before starting the class tomorrow class. Okay, so that's it for today. Anybody have any question, any dot? No dot, right? So we are good. So I will push my code uh, to GitHub, and you can download and use it. Okay, and check like whether this thing are working with you or not. Okay, should I close today's session? Yeah, okay, okay. So let meet tomorrow at same time. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.